William Li just said that they would beat Lexus in terms of sales numbers in 2023. But here I'm telling you, they've already beaten Lexus in terms of sales for the past few months. So guys, that bird, pew, is already down. Next one, you got bigger fish to fry. Of course, BMW, Mercedes, Tesla, you got to go for those. So in this video, we'll be going through all the bullish and bearish factors going into 2023. And I guarantee you the last one you did not see coming. The last one, bullish factor, you did not see coming. William Li also warned about demand issues, echoing what I've been talking about on my channel more than a week ago. Very nice that he has confirmed everything that I said. NIO Inc. founder and chief executive officer William Li said the Chinese EV maker may face a challenging first half as a cut in government subsidies and the broader economic slowdown erode local demand in the world's largest new energy vehicle market. Customers are likely to try to place orders before the end of the year when national subsidies for the electric vehicles are expected to be phased out, Li said at a briefing after the company's launch of its latest models at weekend event in Hefei, central China. NIO also just lowered their guidance, prudently adjusts fourth quarter delivery outlook. In December 2022, the company has been facing challenges in deliveries and productions together with certain supply chain constraints caused by the outbreak of the Omicron coronavirus. What have I been saying in my previous videos? In my previous videos, when I went to the NIO store, the NIO sales rep told me there were only 3 customers in 5 days, and I was the third one. Right? The NIO manager told me usually in a week they get 5 to 6 sets of customers, but now in a month they might get 5 to 6 sets of customers. So guys, you know, right hand to God, I've been telling the truth the whole time. The truth and nothing but the truth. That's why you're here on my channel, man. That's just the way I am on my channel. I don't sugarcoat stuff. If it's bad, it's bad. If it's good, it's good. Obviously, his warning derives from the fact that EV subsidies has been decreasing every year, and 2023 will be the first year without EV subsidies. However, there are still several bullish factors for buying EVs in China that you did not know about. One of them is the vehicle purchase tax, or also known as the vessel tax here in China. If you buy any gasoline vehicle, you have to pay taxes based on its emission. So that can vary anywhere between 10% up to 50%. But for EVs, you're tax exempt. So that means if you're gonna buy a NIO and compare that to a similar priced BMW, the money you end up spending is actually more for the BMW because you have to pay more taxes on that. Whereas for the NIO, when you go get the registration, it's completely tax exempt. So that thing will still exist. And that's very, very much a good factor for EVs in general in 2023. But there's another change that's kind of not that great, but I wouldn't say it's bad. And that's the fact that driving restrictions for gasoline vehicles have been lifted here in China to boost the economy. So in Beijing, particularly, gasoline vehicles, every one day of the week, you're not allowed to drive it. And basically, the government tells you, you know, if your license plate ends in 3 and 8 today, you're not allowed to drive it on, like, for example, Wednesday or something like that. And this is aimed at curbing emissions and reducing traffic. But they've removed that, and the implications of this are actually pretty big because a lot of people, Now let's first talk about what happens if you violate this rule. You're not allowed to drive, but you drive anyways. Well, you get fined 200 RMB. So 200 RMB, which is like roughly 30, 40 bucks, which is pretty annoying though, like to get fined that much every week. So some people that really need to drive their cars every day would choose to buy an EV because EVs don't have that restriction. All right, with EVs, you can drive every day of the week. So that's very nice. But they've removed this restriction. So now gasoline vehicles and EVs can drive every day of the week without any penalty, without anything like that. So people that need to drive their cars every day of the week aren't forced to buy EVs anymore. So that is something to be careful of. So you might see more people choosing gasoline vehicles. Another bullish factor is the chances of getting a license plate is heavily skewed towards EVs. So EV license plates, there's like something like an 8% chance to get an EV license plate, but to get a gasoline license plate, it's 1% chance. So the odds are very in favor of EVs. And what that basically means is when you're trying to get a car, If you're a Beijing resident, you're trying to get a car and you roll for the license plate, odds are more likely that you'll end up with an EV license plate. But some people, of course, still do get the gasoline license plate. And there's one funny story is there was one subscriber who was actually in Beijing. He actually got a gasoline license plate. Here's his the screenshot of our conversation. And he really wanted to buy a NIO or buy a Range Rover, a hybrid Range Rover, which required a gasoline license plate. And the problem is, if he went for a NIO, he would, in essence, be giving up his gasoline license plate and converting it to EV license plate, and you can't convert it back. So I tried to convince him. It was an ongoing conversation for weeks and weeks. At the end of the day, he still decided to go with the gasoline vehicle because he didn't want to convert that to EV license plate. It's so difficult to get a gasoline plate. This last one, bullish factor, you did not see coming. I guarantee you did not see this one coming. It's the fact that gasoline in China is being watered down with more alcohol. Yep, that's correct. You guys can actually look this up. So they're diluting the gasoline with more alcohol in China, and there's some implications to this. Of course, the emissions are going to be cleaner for gasoline vehicles, but the biggest concern is actually the expiration for that gasoline is actually shorter, because what happens is the alcohol and the gasoline, they slowly separate and it goes bad. So this really doesn't affect guys like gasoline cars that much, because gasoline cars are always constantly using gasoline, but it does affect EREVs, extended range EVs. So those EVs with built-in generators, guys like Li Auto, guys like Huawei's cars, those cars, you have the gasoline sitting inside the tank for a long time and you're driving on electric, and sometimes you don't use the gasoline for a very long time, like maybe like weeks or even months. What ends up happening is that gasoline might go bad, and that might, all right, keyword is might, because nothing is certain, all right, that might mean that you just can't use the gasoline anymore and the car is stuck. Obviously, this is one factor. Another factor to consider for people that want to buy EREVs, they would probably decide to, some of them will probably decide to actually just go the full route and just buy a normal EV without the built-in generators. 2023 is going to be a tough year in general because of no more EV credit, and that on the surface is a big turnoff for potential EV buyers. So it is going to be a tough year, and we're approaching a time where in China the EVs and gasoline vehicles are on a slightly more even playing field in terms of all this stuff. So hopefully 2023 will be a prosperous year. Wish you guys an early Happy New Year, and stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.